Let's dive into the dizzying, dreamlike world of Alfred Hitchcock's 1958 masterpiece, Vertigo. To understand this film, we must recognize that the suspenseful mystery on its surface is a vehicle for a much deeper, more unsettling exploration. Vertigo is a ghost story, where the ghost is a romantic obsession. It is a haunting, hypnotic examination of desire, identity, and the desperate, destructive human impulse to remake another person into an idealized fantasy. Hitchcock uses every tool in the cinematic toolbox to pull us directly into the psychological freefall of his protagonist. Our journey begins with John Scottie Ferguson, a masterful James Stewart, a San Francisco police detective. In the thrilling opening sequence, a rooftop chase ends with Scottie dangling precariously from a gutter, his vertigo, a debilitating, paralyzing fear of heights, triggered at the worst possible moment. This incident forces him into early retirement, leaving him a man stripped of his purpose and plagued by a profound sense of guilt and physical limitation. Into this aimless life walks Gavin Elster, an old college acquaintance. Elster presents Scottie with a strange and alluring private investigation. He asks Scottie to follow his beautiful, ethereal wife, Madeleine, kid Novak. Elster claims Madeleine has been possessed by the spirit of a tragic, long-dead ancestor named Carlotta Valdes, and he fears she may be driven to suicide. Scottie, a pragmatist, is skeptical, but he's also intrigued and bored. He agrees. What follows is the first half of the film, a hypnotic, almost wordless pursuit through the dreamlike landscapes of San Francisco. Scottie follows Madeleine as she visits Carlotta's grave, stares at her portrait in a museum, and stands by the edge of the bay. Hitchcock shoots these scenes with a voyeuristic intensity. We are watching Scottie watch Madeleine. We, like him, become utterly captivated by her melancholic grace and mysterious sorrow. The lush haunting scored by Bernard Herrmann swells, creating an atmosphere of romantic doom. Scottie's professional detachment quickly dissolves. He falls deeply, obsessively in love with the idea of this beautiful, tragic woman. This obsession is cemented when Madeleine leaps into the San Francisco Bay in an apparent suicide attempt, and Scottie dives in to save her. He takes her back to his apartment, and as she sleeps, his voyeurism becomes possession. He has rescued her. He feels she belongs to him. Their subsequent conversations are filled with a sense of impending tragedy, as if they are already ghosts, living out a doomed love story that has been written for them by the past. The obsession leads to the mission's tragic failure. Madeleine runs up the bell tower at an old Spanish mission, the very place Carlotta Valdes is said to have taken her own life. Scottie tries to follow, to save her, but his vertigo paralyzes him on the staircase. He can only watch in horror as he sees what appears to be her body fall past the window. He is broken, his guilt now magnified to an unbearable degree. The official inquest rules it a suicide, leaving Scottie institutionalized, catatonic with grief, and consumed by a profound melancholia. He has lost the woman who became the sole focus of his existence. And here, Hitchcock makes one of the most audacious and brilliant moves in cinematic history. He solves the mystery for us halfway through the film. In a flashback, we learn the truth. The woman Scottie knew as Madeleine was in fact an actress named Judy Barton. She was hired by Gavin Elster as part of a perfect murder plot. Elster pushed the real Madeleine from the top of the tower, and Judy was used to play the part of the haunted wife, her suicide providing the perfect cover. Scottie, with his known vertigo, was the perfect witness, the one man who could never make it to the top to see what really happened. The second half of the film follows a cured Scottie, now a ghost himself, haunting the places he once visited with Madeleine. He sees women who resemble her, his obsession still burning. Then one day, he meets Judy Barton. She's a different woman, brunette, with a coarser accent and a more common style, but the resemblance is undeniable. This is where the film's deep, disturbing analysis of obsession truly begins. Scottie latches on to Judy, not because he likes her for who she is, but because he sees her as raw material, a vessel he can use to resurrect his lost love. He begins a chilling, methodical process of transformation. He buys her the same grey suit Madeleine wore. He forces her to dye her hair blonde and style it in the same way. Judy, who has genuinely loved Scottie, resists at first. She pleads, "Can't you love me for me?" The answer is a resounding no. Scottie's love is for an image, a fantasy. His obsession is a form of necrophilia. He is trying to bring a ghost back to life. Judy, desperate for his affection, finally relents. In a haunting, dreamlike scene, she emerges from the bathroom, fully transformed back into the image of Madeleine. As she walks towards him out of a ghostly green light, the camera circles them and the romantic score swells. For a moment, they are back in the past, embracing the ghost. But the illusion is shattered by a piece of jewelry. Judy puts on a necklace, the very same necklace that belonged to Carlotta Valdes in the portrait. Scottie recognizes it, and the entire, horrifying truth dawns on him. His love was a lie. His failure was a setup. His grief was for a woman who never existed. In a fit of rage, he drives Judy back to the mission, back to the scene of the original crime. He forces her up the stairs of the bell tower, determined to conquer his vertigo and confront the truth. He drags her to the top, exorcising his own demons by forcing her to confess. He has finally broken free of the fantasy, but has done so through a cruel act of dominance. Just as he realizes the depth of his actions, a shadowy figure, a nun from the mission, emerges at the top of the stairs. Judy, startled and terrified, steps backward and falls to her death, for real this time. The film ends with Scottie standing on the ledge, cured of his vertigo, but utterly alone, staring down into the abyss. He has conquered his physical limitation, but he has lost everything in the process, destroyed by his own obsession. Vertigo is a masterful and deeply unsettling film that uses the language of cinema itself, the act of watching, the power of the camera's gaze, to explore how romantic idealization can become a destructive, pathological force. It suggests that the desire to perfectly possess and control another person can only lead to tragedy, a dizzying fall from which there is no recovery.